Thanks so much for stopping in. I sure appreciate it. It's that time again. I feel like this snuck up on me really, really fast. And I also want to apologize for kind of going MIA for a week. Life has been lifing. My kids have kept me busy. Work has kept me busy. I was tired and just didn't want to film, if I'm being so honest. But I'm back. I'm ready. Let's get going. It is time to talk about my purchases from last year. Do I still love them? Do I still use them? Did I get rid of those bad boys? So let's jump into February 2025 purchases. All right, first purchase coming up here. This is the Unearthly Sorcerer's Smoke palette. So you would think, based on this color story, that this would be like a dream come true for me, right? We've got these greens over here. We've got warm neutrals in the middle, just kind of some cooler tone neutrals. Overall, fairly neutral palette with some greens, right? It's fine. It's fine. I know there's a lot of hype behind this brand and this formula. Personally, to me, it doesn't stand out in my collection. Honestly, I kind of forget I have this sometimes. This is my only Unearthly purchase, so I don't know if it's a fair judgment. I'm sure they've improved their formula. Maybe, I don't know. But it's not bad. I'm not upset with my purchase, but to be honest, I just don't think about it often. I kind of have to remind myself that I have it and that I need to use it and I need to indulge in it. When I do, it's just fine. There's nothing super special about the formula. So do I regret it? No. Am I enjoying it? When I can remember. These next two purchases I purchased together. This was in a sale for Sydney Grace, and I got these two palettes here, Heaven on Earth and Tiny Marvels. I really enjoy both of these palettes very, very much. I will say that the Tiny Marvels is only something I really gravitate towards in the spring, which I'm getting ready to pull this into my next rotation, so I'm really excited to dig into this. But it's kind of more of a pastel, neutral leaning palette, which I really appreciate the more neutral tones to go with those more pastels. I like pastel as a pop, not as the overall look. So yeah, I'm really excited to drag this out. I really enjoy this, and I've used it quite a few times in the past year. So yeah, great purchase there. And then of course, the second part of that was the Heaven on Earth palette. And this is a very summery palette in my personal opinion. It has just a summertime color story. As you can see down here, we've got some nice like oceany blues. We've got some more green, kind of like a grungy green. And then we've got a row of warm neutrals. It's really nice. This formula is really surprising to me. I didn't expect to love the Sydney Grace formula as much as I do. It blends easy. The shimmers are pretty soft. I wouldn't say they're glitzy or glittery or poppy, but I've come to really appreciate that type of formula in a shimmer. So even though they're not like top of the line glitzy poppy, I just really have grown to appreciate a softer shimmer with a softer eye look, or even a bold look and a soft shimmer. It's nice sometimes to not have so much glitter in a look. Don't get me wrong though, I still love glitter. Kinda. So this next one is actually a complexion product. It is the Milk Makeup Bronzing Stick here. I actually found this one. It's in the shade Baked. I found this one it was either TJ Maxx or Marshall's. I can't remember which one I found it at. But yeah, it's not a top favorite bronzer. I have too many bronzers, cream bronzers that blend out a little bit easier than this one does. But I do like the compact size of this. It is nice to travel with. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room at all. And I appreciate that it is in fact a cream formula. But it's just not the one that immediately popped to my mind, just because, like I said, I have other formulas that are creamier and easier to work with, but I still do enjoy this. Don't regret purchasing it, but I wouldn't be upset if it left my collection, but I'm not trying to get rid of it either. Does that make sense? Another complexion style product is the NYX Color Correcting Concealer mixture here, palette here, I guess. I originally purchased this strictly for, I can't get it open. That's one of my gripes about it. This purple color corrector here. I was struggling to work with red eyeshadows because of my warm yellow undertone, and purple cancels yellow. So I was hoping that if I canceled my eyelids with a purple, then reds would show more true red. They did a little bit, but it ended up just looking like a cakey mess because this is a very thick cream formula. So the intended purchase for this did not work out. However, this right here is the perfect concealer for me. I usually touch up my dark spots after I've applied all my makeup with this particular shade, and it is just the most perfect match for my skin tone. So I think if I finish this shade off, I will actually hunt down in the NYX line the most close shade I can find in this. I think in the NYX like Fix Sticks or something, but I'm going to try and hunt down that color. I do use the yellow color corrector for my under eyes, and then I'm thinking about using this as a bronzer. I haven't tried it yet, but it's kind of popped in my mind. But the purple and that pinky one I don't really use, so unfortunately those two shades are kind of a waste of money for me. But strictly just talking about that one concealer shade, this has been a super great purchase for me because now I have a new favorite spot concealer. Okay, next up I have a lip purchase. So my sheet says the ColourPop Fresh Kiss Glossy Lip Balm, and I purchased 2 of them, but it doesn't say which 2 I purchased, and I have 4. So I definitely purchased 2 more at some other point last year, but I can't tell you which 2 I purchased at the start, like at this particular time last year. I'm thinking it was probably these 2 more neutral shades because I do remember picking this one up closer to summer. I'm thinking I probably picked these up together. But yeah, that 2 of these 4 were picked up this time last year. I like these. They're fine. To me, again, there's so many lip balms that they don't stand out in my collection. I do like these 2 the best. Go figure, neutrals, right? And I do like the flavors. This is caramel latte and chocolate milkshake. So I do like flavor scents of these 2 more than these 2. These are wild berry and watermelon sugar. So they're fine. They're fairly pigmented. They last an average lip balm time. They just don't stand out. They're not ones I think about and that I want to use on a regular basis. So I don't know if I would say that I regret purchasing them, but I kind of regret getting 4 of them. I wish I had just stuck to 2, maybe like these 2, and let the purple one and this darker brown one go. I'm not going to let them go. I will use them, but they're just not top of the brain when I think about lip balms. So coming back around to palettes here, the next one I purchased is from Cosmic Beauty or Cosmic Brushes, and it's the Undergrowth palette. This one, believe it or not, dethroned Natasha Denona's Yucca palette as my favorite. Look at this freaking color story, y'all. I just can't. As a green and warm neutral lover, look at it. Just take a second. Just look at it. It's so dang pretty. I love it so much. I've mentioned a dozen times here already, I'm not a big fan of duochromes, multi-chromes, but there's 2, I think at least 2 in here, maybe more, but these are the kinds of duo multi-chromes that I enjoy. They don't shift overly hard one direction. They're mostly like one shade with a slight change to another, and that would be the shade Undergrowth here. You guys are getting a gold, but I get a green. You can kind of see that shift there. And Fireflies, you guys are getting more of a gold, and I can sometimes get like a light green. Trying to catch these is always fun on camera, right? But I'm getting a green when I look at it and the camera is seeing a gold. So I just really, really love this color story. The formula is fantastic. The reason this dethroned my all-time favorite Natasha Denona Yucca palette is just because the Yucca palette has a now, compared to her newer palettes, outdated cream to powder formula. And I didn't realize how hard they were to work with until I used just those cream to powders. But, and this one offers more shimmer options versus the Yucca palette. I just feel like there's more versatility in here, but I can also get dang near the same look. So, and this was a lot more affordable. So this is a major win. And again, this is probably what I'm going to pull out in March. So I've used it quite a bit and I will continue using it. So I'm really happy to have this one. One last complexion product, and it's actually in my current rotation. It's the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Tinted Foundation Balm. Now, I do have 2 shades of this. I don't know if I documented both purchases. I think I did, but at least on this day, I only documented one of these as a purchase. So I don't know if I got it later. I can't remember. It was a year ago. That's why I write this stuff down, but clearly not very well. But this is in my current rotation. It's actually what I'm wearing today. I do look a little glowier than normal, but I do think it's the sunscreen I used. I did a different combination today, and I'm not really sure I like it, to be honest. But this is a great foundation stick. I really enjoy it. It's different in comparison to like the Fenty foundation stick, where Fenty just blends like absolute butter. This is slightly thicker. I would say, you know, the Fenty is super, super creamy, whereas the Milani stick is a little bit thicker. And I would say this kind of falls right in the middle. This isn't as creamy as the Fenty, but it's not quite as stiff as the Milani stick. So I like it for in between. I have this in two shades. This current one I'm using is Fair 4 because it's more of my winter shade. And then I do have a more deep, I think it's a like light 6, and that's more of like my summer shade. So because these are really hard to like deepen or lighten, so I have two in this. But I'm making good progress on this. I'm actually monitoring the usage this month, and it doesn't look like I did when I roll it up, but I feel like I've made quite a good amount of progress. So we'll see in next month how much progress I actually made. But this is a great purchase. I like it and I enjoy it, and no regrets. All right, and last eyeshadow purchase, but certainly not least, it is the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. And this is in my current rotation right now. This was my #1 used palette in 2025, just overall. I find it funny because I think I've mentioned this before, but I was not going to purchase this when it came out. And I don't know what came over me, but very last minute, after it had been released, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just grab it. I'm so glad I did because, like I said, it's definitely one of my most used palettes in my collection, and I've used it quite a bit this year already. So definitely not a misfire on this purchase. I'm really, really happy to have it. I really enjoy it. And this shade Brick is my absolute favorite. I use it in every look I create with this palette. I love the range in this one. I love the depth in this one. I do wish the shimmers were a bit more punchy. These are more comparable to like a Viseart shimmer or like the soft shimmers in the Sydney Grace palette. I would like to have seen these be a little more punchy, a little more glitter-y, not like the texture of glitter, but like the sparkle of a glitter. That's my only gripe, but clearly it doesn't affect me enough to not use the palette because it's definitely a highly, highly used palette in my collection. And just, yeah, I'm really excited to have this one. And last but not least for this month, this isn't actually a purchase. This was the Sephora birthday gift last year, which the birthday gifts were so much better last year than they are this year. Just my personal opinion. But I actually got the Makeup by Mario little lip kit that came in that little birthday set. It's these two right here. It's a lip liner and then the Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serum in Rosewood Glow, and then the lip pencil is in Rich Mauve. I love this pencil. It has me very intrigued in the aspect of I want to look at more lip liners when I get through some of the ones I currently have, because I really like this formula, and this is a perfect My Lips But Better shade. I really like this one. But I will say these Moisture Glows, these are the ones that you click up but don't click back down. And it's plumping, so it has that tingle. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy it, but I love this color. And it's a little bit on the goopy side, in my opinion, which I don't really love. You can see, like, it's just been in a room. This room is currently like 68 degrees, and it's already kind of like melty and goopy. Don't love that, but I do still want to hang on to it and give this a couple more tries to see if I even want to fight through finishing it, or if I just want to go ahead and pass it on or let it go. But I do really like this, and I look forward to using this once I'm finished with my current lip liner. So, not a purchase, so I can't say I regret or don't regret, but I'd say 50-50. I'm fine without this one, but I'm loving this one. All right, friends, the final number. Whew. We have a total of 10 products purchased, 1 gifted. That was the Makeup by Mario birthday set. But we have 10 items purchased. Drum roll, please. I spent a total of $259 on these items. Ouch. That's severely over my budget of 150. I definitely blew it. Yeah, I'm not impressed with myself. And the thing is the cheapest of the items are the ones that I would say I regret, and that would be the ColourPop lip balms. Outside of that, I'm super happy with all of my purchases, but that number is painful, painful. I ugh. Again, not ashamed, but ouch. Ouch. And that was just makeup. We weren't tracking skincare at this point. We weren't tracking, anything like that. That was just makeup purchases. And ugh, I only had 2 empties last year at this time. It was the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, which I went through those like probably one a month. So you'll hear that probably a lot. I haven't used it yet in 2025. I don't have any in my collection right now. I'm actually just really enjoying my NYX brow pencils. Actually, the other thing that I finished was a foundation. It was the L'Oreal True Match foundation in the shade W2. And that actually was an empty. That was my first foundation empty ever. How exciting is that, right? But yeah, so 2 empties, 10 purchases, 1 gift, $259 spent. Wowzers. But you know what? We're on good track. February is looking not too shabby. I did have some purchases. We're going to talk about it real soon. But I just wanted to share with you guys what I purchased a year ago and if they're still in my collection and if I love them. So now you know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you later.